Good morning, hello, I'm Frisco, and this is the Forex Supermodel Racing Review and Forex Briefing for Wednesday the 10th of May 2023. Yesterday we had a non-runner, so the account is static at 70.90 units for a peak of about 74.5. It was, where was it? It was Jungle Fever in the 715 at Newcastle on the all-weather. That horse had multi-entries and presumably they pulled it to fish elsewhere, but we'll keep an eye out for that horse anyway, just a matter of interest. Right, today, Chester Vase then, Group 3, Colts and Geldings, Class 1 3-year-old, 1 mile 4, 63 yards, 5 in the race. This is a feed to the Epsom Derby, so it's a pattern feed. It's good to soft, it's model 91. The thing about Chester is, as most people know, it's a very tight turning course, and it's that's the main factor really in Chester, is that the horses are on the turn, and so a long sort of galloping horse is at a disadvantage, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The two you can sensibly get rid of are number 3, Duke of Oxford, and Galactic Jack. Where is it? Galactic Jack is rated 89 on the official rating. It's been put up 1, and Duke of Oxford is rated 90. But they're not really the type of horse that are going to go on and do the business, really, quite frankly. So we can give those a chop. And they're 40 to 1 and 14 to 1. So the market sort of agrees with that analysis. The likely favourite is this Arrest, number 2. And that's Gosden's horse. Last seen out in France in the Group 1 10 furlong heavy. Also this Adelaide LD River, or whatever it is, number 1 was in, and it came ahead of that one. The thing about this horse here, this Arrest, if you watch its running style, it's initially had 2 races at Sandown, 1 and 7, 1 and 8, 2 maidens on Good to Firm. Then it went to Foss Lass of all places to win a fairly decent race, it has to be said, in novice stakes at Good to Soft. But if you look at that horse, it's got a very high action. It almost paddles, which means it's sort of it's got a kink in its action, and it's actually not going to be, in our opinion, at all suited to charging round Chester 1 mile 3. On the merry-go-round there, so we're going to give Arrest the chop on the basis that it's not really going to be at all suited to the race conditions. So that leaves us with number 1, Adelaide River, or however you say it, and Hadrianus, number 5. Now, Adelaide River has been shown to be in the inferior in terms of when it went to France in the Group 1, the Grand Criterium, but that was heavy going over 10 furlongs, and this is a very different ball game. And the key is this: its first race at Dundalk on the all-weather 8 furlongs at the mile. That's if you watch that horse round the bends, it's ideally suited. So we get a big tick in that one. It's O'Brien's horse as well, and it's got all the right sort of credentials. And we've got initially £1.50 per £8 unit on at 5 to 1. So 150 on at 5 to 1. And this other one, Hadrianus. Now, if you look at the entries on that horse, they're dodging the Derby, and they're going to Royal Ascot, the Group 2. 1 mile 4 there, so you could argue that it's got a different style of preparation. But if you look at that horse, the key race there was Kempton, 11 furlongs maiden, and Kempton was speed turns again, and it's also run decently at Epsom on the soft 10 furlongs. And Epsom's obviously at a sort of undulating, twisting course where the actual Derby was run. So we like Adrianus as well in a different way. And we've got £1.50 again on that, so 150 at 5.4, nearly 11 to 2. The over round's about 102.5% at the moment. So if they come for this arrest, these will drift out a bit. So we've allowed ourselves a bit of slack here. So we'll add to those. So we'll probably put another 100 on each, giving us £5 per £8 unit on in total. So that's, and if they don't drift, obviously we'll leave it there. So that's what we're doing. We're going against this arrest in the 5.15 at Chester, in the Chester Vase. Now the Forex, we've had some tier 1 German data which is coming flat, so that sort of sets the scene for the euro. And the next key piece of data is at 1:30, which is the US CPI, Consumer Price Index, and that's a tier 1 event. It looks like the dollar yen's going to have a ramp up, so we'll be looking either to get involved long on the dollar yen, and obviously you'll need to be looking at equities if you're going to trade the dollar yen due to the carry trade, and you want equities to be charging up really if you're buying the dollar yen normally. So that's where we are, and you can also keep an eye on the euro dollar, and the euro dollar may well drop if you get a strong CPI or on the US or otherwise. So we'll see how it goes, but that's what we're looking at. That's the main focus at the moment really, is this dollar yen to the long side. So anyway, hope that was useful. See how we go with the racing. Hopefully we can get this account over the peak again and get on to 100 units profit. So anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and goodbye.